The wind howls across the frozen land, it cuts like a knife, it does not care who you are. In the far north long ago, winter was not just cold, it was deadly. Snow piled high, food grew rare, and nights felt endless. Many people think the Vikings only fought and sailed, but that is only half the truth. The real battle was at home. Inside small wooden houses, where families fought to stay alive. One mistake meant death, one bad night meant never waking up. Yet somehow they survived winters that reached far below freezing. Not by luck, but by a method so smart, so strange, that people later tried to forget it. This is not a story of war, it is a story of survival, and a secret that kept people alive when nothing else could. A Viking home looked simple, but it was built with purpose. Thick walls made from wood and turf, a low roof, and one main room where everyone stayed close. At the center, a fire burned day and night. That fire was life. It gave heat, it cooked food, it kept fear away. But fire alone was not enough. Heat escapes fast in the cold, and a house like this could lose warmth in minutes. The Vikings knew this. They did not waste heat, they trapped it, held it, and used every bit of it. Their homes were not just shelters, they were tools. Every part had a reason. Every small detail helped them live one more night. But there was one method, one hidden trick, that made all the difference, and few people speak about it today. Cold was not the only enemy. Inside the house, danger grew in silence. Smoke filled the air. Breathing became hard, and too much heat in the wrong place could harm as much as the cold outside. Many early homes failed because they could not control this balance. Too much air and heat escaped, too little air and people could suffocate. It was a deadly problem, yet the Vikings solved it in a way that seems simple but was deeply clever. They turned their whole home into a living system, not just a place to sleep, but a place that breathed, that moved heat, that protected life. And at the center of this system was a technique that people later stopped talking about, maybe because it seemed strange, or maybe because it was too easy to misuse. The secret begins with the ground. Vikings did not sleep on bare floors. They built layers, thick layers of straw, animal skins, and sometimes even moss. This was not just for comfort, it trapped heat. The ground steals warmth from the body faster than air ever could. By building these layers, they created a barrier. Warmth stayed above, cold stayed below, but they went further. These layers also held small pockets of air, air that warmed up and stayed warm. It was like sleeping on a living blanket, one that worked all night. Even when the fire burned low, this hidden layer kept people alive. It was simple, but it worked, and it was only the beginning of the technique that made their home so powerful. At night, the family did not spread out. They came together, close, tight, almost like one body. This was not just for comfort or safety, it was for heat. Human bodies give off warmth, and when people stay close, that heat builds. The Vikings knew this. They often slept in a circle, near the center of the room, where heat was strongest. Children in the middle, adults around them. It was a natural shield. Heat stayed trapped inside the group, not lost to the cold air. This method was so effective that even with little fire, they could survive the night. Alone, a person could freeze. Together, they lived. It was not just a habit, it was a system, one that turned people into part of the solution. Now comes the part that many do not expect. Vikings sometimes brought animals inside. Not all animals and not always, but when the cold became too strong, it was done. Sheep, goats, even small livestock shared the space. This was not random. Animals give off heat just like humans. Their bodies became living heaters. The air inside the home grew warmer, more stable. It sounds strange today, but in that time it was smart, very smart. This method added another layer to their survival system. Heat from the fire, heat from the ground, heat from people, and now heat from animals, all working together. It was not pretty, it was not clean, but it saved lives. And this part of the technique is one reason it was later pushed aside. Fire needs air, but too much air kills heat. Vikings controlled this balance with care. Their homes had small openings, not large windows. Smoke escaped slowly, but not all at once. Warm air stayed inside longer. Doors were kept low, so heat did not rush out. Even how they moved mattered. Quick openings, quick closings, no wasted warmth. Some homes even used simple vents that could be covered or opened depending on the weather. It was like a manual system, guided by instinct and experience. They did not have modern tools, but they understood something important. Heat is not just made, it is managed, and they managed it better than most people could imagine today. So why was this technique forgotten or silenced? The answer is not simple. As time moved on, new building styles came, cleaner homes, separate spaces, new ideas of comfort. Bringing animals inside became seen as wrong. Sleeping in tight groups became less common. Floors changed, materials changed, and people trusted new methods. The old ways were left behind. Some even saw them as signs of a rough past they wanted to forget. But in losing these habits, something was lost, a deep understanding of survival, a system built not on luxury, but on life itself. It was not written in books, it was lived. And when people stopped living that way, the knowledge faded. Today we have heaters, lights, and strong houses, but the Viking method still teaches us something. Survival is not about one solution. It is about layers, many small things working together, protecting heat, sharing warmth, using what you have. These ideas still matter. In extreme situations, they can mean the difference between life and death. The Vikings did not wait for help. They built systems that worked with nature, not against it. And that is the real secret. Not just what they did, but how they thought. Simple, smart, and effective. The next time you think of Vikings, do not just see warriors and ships. See families sitting close, fighting the cold together. See homes built with care, designed to hold life inside. Their survival technique was not magic. It was understanding. It was using every bit of heat, every bit of space, and every bit of strength they had. And maybe, just maybe, it was too real, too raw for later times to keep talking about. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to True Historia. Tell us in the comments what you think about this hidden Viking method and what story you want to see next.